Take it away, Sarah.
Hi, thank you, Evie. Happy November, y'all. What the heck? Let's make it a November to remember. Who can name the company that is their tagline? Okay, let's get started. We have a lot to get through today, and I will start with all of our usual goodness, and then we'll get into. Hi, thank you, Evie. Oh, so weird when YouTube talks back to us. Um, I don't know about you guys. It's been a pretty boring week in real estate, like not much going on. Not much to talk about. We're really stretching for ideas today, but we're going to do our best to really bring you some great stuff. So, that being said, I will start right with our welcomes, and we would like to welcome this week. We have Sarah Howard who has joined us, and Peyton Harpet. There's Sarah's picture. Welcome, Sarah. Welcome, Peyton. Peyton got in at like the last minute last night, so we don't have your photo yet, but we will soon. And for the signature group, we have welcomed Olga officially. Olga's been around for a little bit, and her license finally came through. So welcome, Olga. Congratulations on getting all your license information complete, and we are happy to have all three of you join us this week. I mean, I'm going to say that everybody could use some great news to start off our thankful November together. So, who has a bucket to fill? Who wants to share something good?
I actually have a bucket to fill. I want to fill all the coaches' buckets. For those that don't know, we're doing a 30, 60, 90 program with everybody in their program. And that's basically 30, 60, 90 days, making the last quarter count with a daily accountability of what's called 75 hard. You want to know what 75 hard is? Ask me later. But I want to really say that they've really stepped up and doing a great job, especially all of them in this challenging market.
That's awesome.
I have a
Thanks
bucket.
doing that, Robert. And coaches, way to go. Doing new things is we learn a lot as we do it. Congratulations on that. Peggy Rose, go ahead, my
Yes,
dear.
I have a bucket. Giannis was amazing today. I put a text out to a bunch of agents and nobody could help me out, but Giannis did. I needed to preview property. I didn't want to go alone. I realized I didn't want to go alone. And so I asked an agent to go with me. And so she came with me and then we did door knocking afterwards. She was a rock star though. It was amazing, you guys. Thank you so much, Giannis. And we're going to be pitching a property today.
That's awesome. I can't wait to hear all about it. I want to double down on Peggy's bucket fill with that and remind you guys that you are part of this like largest brokerage in San Diego, right? So use each other for the resources you are. If you have a need, make a request. Don't go alone if you don't want to. Always go together and find a friend. And then it's really also all the other pieces that come into it. Have a question, have a need help with a showing, aren't sure about something, I promise you there is someone you can ask, and there is guaranteed to be someone who can help you get through what you're looking to do. So, Peggy, great job asking. Yes, great job going. Can't wait to hear about the property. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any hands. If you did want to fill a bucket, throw your digital hand up and I'll get to in a moment. And otherwise, I'll make sure we get on because, that boring week in real estate we have to talk about. So, Mona, I see you. I'll fill your bucket, Mona from Old Republic, always here to help feed, water, and educate our agents. So go ahead, Mona, take it away as today's S&P Spotlight.
Hi, good. Well, happy November 1st. This is crazy that we're already here. So I'm just going to bring up two things. One for you to remember, you are a CRESS office. If you haven't used a CRESS plan and you don't know about your CRESS CNO, please reach out to me, text me at 619-408-1144, and I'll go all into the extras that you get when you have CRESS ENO. The 50,000 that protects you, protects your seller. It's a great coverage for you guys. Also, I want to just mention, because we are at the end of the month, if you have not signed up for your or end of the year, actually, you haven't signed up for your Toolbox account, please do so. Go to orhp.com, sign up on your Toolbox. It's got lots of great things in there. And one of the things that's a great tip is if you've been using your Toolbox all year long, you have a history of every home warranty that you've ever used. It's a great way to go through, get the names of your homeowners, your sellers, your buyers, all the people that are in there, and send them your thank you cards for the year, your Christmas cards, or whatever cards you send out. It keeps a track of every order you've ever had. And if you have a TC doing it for you, she can provide you with that list, or give me a call and I'll get it for you. That's it. That's a wrap.
Mona, love that tip. I think I dropped in orhp.com and sign up for your Toolbox. Is that what you said?
Yep. Yes.
And tell me your cell again.
It's 619-408-1144. And if you haven't signed up, call me and I'll walk you through it, and we'll create a little between friends and all kinds of goodies for you. Thank you.
Thank you. And Bridget wanted to give you major props for sponsoring the Halloween bingo event last week too. Thank you for always showing up for us.
You're welcome. Love you guys.
Thanks, lady. Happy November. All right. So there's so much value that comes out, you guys. I gotta stop saying guys. I know I still say it. Just bear with me. I don't think you're all guys. Just I'm training my brain. There's so much value that we share, and it's an East Coast thing. It is. If you feel like I don't know what she just said, I don't know what Toolbox and orhp.com and what that means, and I don't know what my warranty, whatever, go use her number, call her and have an appointment and let her walk you through it, because home warranty is going to help you stand out above with competing with in this market, and it's going to help you be a better agent in general. So use the tools, and then her CRM, like she was mentioning, will help you track more. Now, when you're using Command completely, you will have all the data you need in there, and that's okay. But we'll always use others as well, right? As we share all that value with you guys, I want to make sure if you don't know what we're saying, ask the question. Like, no, maybe not right now. You're not going to go, let's learn about home warranty in the meeting. But Mona gave her information. Go ask the questions, raise your hand, ask them at the right time. That's how you learn and do more and be better. I see the chat popping up and I saw like it's an East Coast thing. I don't know what else is happening there. I'll look at it later. In the meantime, I will say, Eddie, Matt, who is on and who wants to talk today?
What's up, everybody? It's good to see you guys. Good to be in an office. I just wish I got to see your faces in 3D. Guys, yes, Alicia. So, good news, the rates did not go up today. So bonus, we had a midday improvement. The Fed did not change their rates. We had a midday improvement that was significant. Really helped out lower those interest rates. I don't know if you guys remember back last March, April timeframe, when the 10-year, 2-year yield curve inverted. And I said, hey, watch, in the next 12 to 18 months is when we start going into a recession. So in order for that to happen, that yield curve has to be positive again. And guess what? It's getting pretty darn close to being positive again, which means that in the near future, and they're talking Q1 of next year, maybe Q2, we may be starting a recession. And what does that mean for us? That means that 99.9% of the time, interest rates come down during a recession. Prices of homes go up during recession. So it is a good thing for our industry, even though it's a horrible thing for the people that will wind up losing jobs in a recession and the contraction that happens. It does help the housing industry quite a bit. So it is good news that our rates are coming down. So also want to let you guys know, and to add a little bit more value into your lives, we're having our Movement Mondays every Monday morning, 9 a.m. This past week's class was on appraisals. It was awesome. Sydney Lusso is one of my dearest friends, super cool cat, and did a really, really good job of presenting. The next 3 classes, you guys, 1031 exchanges coming up this week. All right. The week after that, it's going to be our credit repair specialist that we work with, Blue Water Credit. And then I'm bringing in a broker partner of ours, NQM Inc. And they're going to talk to us about non-QM loans, you guys. So every other loan out there, except for like conventional FHA, VA, USDA, and jumbo, right? That's the cookie cutter stuff, like 95% of our business. The other 5% are these bank statement loans, DSCR loans, interest only loans, those kind of things, like kind of out of the box thinking. I'm bringing them in. I'm going to be interviewing them. I want you guys to really expand your mind to understand that there are other loan options. You guys, we have 63 loan options that we have access to help you guys out. It's not just FHA, VA, and conventional. So that's my 2 cents. Hopefully that was 2 minutes, and I'm not going to get yelled at by Miss Evie. And I love you guys. I'm here for you. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. And oh, by the way, if you miss any of those Movement Monday classes, I record them. They're on the live streams on my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. It's so weird to say. So I just posted the link in there. You guys feel free to go back and check out any of our older class that we did. Thanks, guys.
Eddie the influencer, sporting his YouTube. Thank you for that. And your use of guys just proves the fact that it must be an East Coast thing. So we'll start saying use guys. That's the plural. That's the East Coast version of all y'all. All right. We'll get some seriousness going on here. Broker Bob, please give us the coaching spotlight and broker updates for the
Hey,
week.
Sarah, you heard of cousin Vinny? Are you related to him?
All y'all. Use guys.
Use guys. Okay, everybody. Hey, happy Wednesday. Hope everybody's having a great, fantastic day. Let's give a shout out to people doing great stuff that are involved in the coaching program. We forgot to mention these two last week. They are on actually Coach Deborah's, even though you see Coach Alicia's photo at the bottom. We submitted it wrong, but Julianne and Dahlia are in the 30-60-90 program. That's the program we're running with people in our coaching program through the end of the year. And congratulations, we forgot to mention them last week, but they're doing a bang up job and they're attending and doing everything they need to do. Next up, Eric. He's in growth with Coach Deborah. Took 2 land listings in Borrego. I think he's selling all of Borrego. Congratulations to Eric. And then if you are interested in the 30-60-90 program and you're not in coaching and you have an interest in being in coaching, please reach out to me and I'll schedule a 15-minute business consult. If you're just dangling out there in the wind and you don't know what to do, we will get you dialed in through the end of the year so you have a really good first quarter. Broker highlight stuff this week. I have said this over and over and over and over again, and the ones that aren't listening are the ones that are not here, but I'm going to say it again. Do not do anything that resembles property management. Please, 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 please. You can take a lease listing and put it in the MLS. That's okay. But after that, that is all of your involvement. You give all of the leads to the property owner or their property management. You do not answer any questions from prospective tenants. Because if you don't know the answer to the question, you give the wrong answer. There are tenants out there that are actually know how to game the system, and they will probably end up with a fair housing violation against you, causing you an E&O claim of $10,000 deductible, and you don't want to be paying that. So again, you can put the lease listing in the MLS. Fantastic. Go ahead and do that for your clients. But after that, you've got to get all the tenants over, prospective tenants, to the landlord or their property manager. And if you want to help someone find a rental, you can do that. But you give them to the property manager to talk to after that. And there's not a lot of money in it, so why do it? But if you think you're going to get a buyer down the road, fantastic. But don't answer property managers. There's a lot of laws that have changed in the state of California, and tenants are knowledgeable and privy to this, and they know how to get you in trouble. And there's attorneys out there that are making this a cottage industry, and they're going after us agents in the industry to sue you. So you don't want to end up with a claim, and it's not worth the $50 you're going to make for that lease listing. All right, that's it. Back to you, Sarah.
I want to just double down on what you just said, Robert, because I know I've had people ask me, like, why aren't we allowed? Why does Broker Bob say this? And I hope you heard it in what he just mentioned there. Everything that Robert brings to us is about protection. So like you can go do this, you can't do that. Being mindful of, we think in our mind space of how I would operate and what would I do. You have to understand that the people that would raise their hands and try to lure you into a situation where you're going to do something wrong or say something wrong that would end up in a lawsuit. We'll talk more about lawsuits in a minute. It's beyond your thinking and beyond your control. So what he says is not to limit you or bother you. It is really to protect you and help you focus on what you should be focusing on and keep you in your alley and your lane and help you not get sued. One of our agents was just selling a place, and the tenant in place had minimal rental increases over the years. And when I tell you, she made it like really next to impossible for multiple years to get her out, to get the place to be able to sell. It was a lot. So like Ashley just put in the chat, she does have a property management option for everyone, and we are good humans, and we will, and it's not me, I'm saying we, the royal we, will take care of you guys and make sure everything's handled the right way. So if you need that, ask for it. And I just wanted to make sure when you hear Robert speak, it is to protect you, not to irritate you. Okay. All right.
Thank you, Sarah. And once we finish this claim, I will have the agent share their story about what question that they answered the wrong way. And then this tenant hired an attorney, and now it cost that agent $10,000. So they have learned their lesson, but it's a very expensive lesson.
Yeah. Yeah. So take the protection. Understand it's like your parents. You don't always love it. And then one day you're like, oh, thank you for that. Okay. So have we seen anything about a lawsuit, nationally, class action, billions with a B of dollars, right? We had a call with KW International Leadership this morning that they put out on Zoom where we all got together. And I want to just tell you guys the first thing that one of our leaders said, and this was Mark Willis, who was with Keller Williams, just returned back recently. Ashley has a long relationship with. He opened by saying, the most important thing to understand is we didn't lose the opportunity to continue doing what we do so well. There was a brokerage in Colorado who opened a meeting like this with their people and said, the real estate industry, as you know, it is over, good luck, and God bless. That is completely false and inaccurate. So I just want to like throw it out there in the beginning so you guys hear it and understand like that's not what's happening. Okay. What we do know, and I will only speak to what they shared and what we know. First and foremost, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll maybe post some articles on the YouTube, oh my gosh, on the Facebook page that you can go read intelligently about what's happening. This is no longer just a real estate like internal conversation. It's been in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, CNN, CNBC, San Diego Union Tribune. I go to the national ones first because that's where everyone's looking. Other people are looking other places. I've had two of our agents internally say they had questions from their people in their world last night and this morning about it. And what does that matter for you guys? Gosh, every time I hear guys now, it's just like ringing in my brain. It matters because you need to be the local expert as always, right? And if you're the local expert and there's global articles on real estate happening with billions of dollars in damages potentially being talked about, you have to know how to answer those questions. What happened is in the state of Missouri, this jury came back and said, we think real estate agents make too much and we're overpaid and you guys did bad stuff. So we think you have to pay $1 billion+ to compensate for that. That's a summation. That's not a direct quote. Please don't publish that to my agent. They won't approve that statement. What we know is that Keller Williams is filing an appeal. Keller Williams, NAR, and Berkshire Hathaway Home Services were the three companies that remained in the lawsuit and did not settle and fold beforehand. Because Gary Keller has gone out and said, this is completely false. It is unfounded. It is not true. Agents, we are not fixed commissions. We don't always make 6%, and it's just nonsense. So we're willing to go to bat and fight to protect you and what's possible in the future. The jury said, you're wrong. You're liars. That's not true. We think you need to pay more money. At some point, Ashley will interrupt me and say other things too, and that's okay. So what I want you guys to hear is Keller Williams is filing an appeal. This is not done. Everyone's not going to suddenly have to pay $1 million in dues to stay with Keller Williams, and we're not going bankrupt and everything's not folding under. And really, nothing that you're doing today changes in your business, except that you have to have an awareness and you have to educate yourself as a real estate agent on the news in real estate in general, because this is a large precedent-setting conversation that's happening. We also know that the next minute after the jury came back, the lawyers who represented this case turned around and named the next 7 largest real estate companies in the country to be the next, I'm going to say, victims of the lawsuit. So any company that you didn't hear in the first lawsuit is now in the second lawsuit, right? And that's the most important stuff for those pieces. The appeal process will start. That will take anywhere from the smallest amount of time that an appeal would take to numbers of years that we don't understand how long it would be in the future. And we do know that real estate is an economic lever that the country uses to put us in and out of recessions and to control the economy. And Ashley, in business planning, what did we say? It's an average of like 38 professions touch every one transaction.
28. Yeah.
So it matters that the real estate industry stays alive and well. And so it is the assumption that this won't just end with a jury in Missouri saying one thing or another. It will end up on a national level. I said Congress. Ashley said Supreme Court. I quit that part of history and government. So whatever the right thing is. Ashley, what do you want to share and say about it?
Well, first, I'm going to share my screen in a minute. So Evie, if I need to be a co-host or whatever, you just got in your email the FAQ from International. And we talked a little bit about this at the mastermind we had earlier. I'll tell you, yesterday, a lot of last week, but yesterday especially, the number of conversations I had with other owners of KW offices was a large number. And the conversations were very fearful because we didn't know anything except all this, $1.78 billion is an intimidating number. And today we did have a 9 o'clock call with all of our leadership at KWRI. And that call was so good because it got all of us, all 800 market center owners, out of fear. And for me, actually got me a little bit into excitement. Nothing changes right now. The fact I'm going to share, the first thing says is business as usual as of today. But it does indicate things are going to change in our industry over the next 2 to 3 years. And I don't think those changes are necessarily bad. The best part of that is because the ownership, because we're such a large company, because the individual franchise owners and the leadership of the company are locked arm in arm, we are actually going to be on the cutting edge of that change. And I think be authors of a lot of what it will look like. I personally think everybody on this call, every agent who plans on continuing to be an agent, just needs to double down on what they're doing. Serve your people at a high level, improve your skills, get better at demonstrating and articulating your worth. And we just have to talk about commissions a little bit more often. That's really it. At the end of the day, my belief, because I've read so many of the articles and some of the transcripts on the case, I fully believe this is going to be turned over in the appeal court. What I did learn today new is that a jury trial obviously results in a jury verdict. The jury itself, the 8 people, don't have to follow the law and often just make emotional decisions. Well, what do most consumers think about realtors? Just that general thought, right? So it's not surprising to me that 8 normal people from Missouri went into a courtroom and said, yeah, realtors make too much. They probably shouldn't make that much. That's what we got. Now, as it goes to appeal, the law has to be followed by the judge. And we have so much evidence to show that we're following the law. There's 99% chance it will absolutely be overturned in the appeal court. So that's why they're fighting it. That's why they're not just laying down like the other companies that are public companies had to. And in any case, I think this is making it so an industry that doesn't innovate usually is forced to innovate. All the innovation that has come to real estate in my entire career has been from the outside. Tech companies coming into real estate, forcing evolution. This is an evolution now we get to choose. And I do think it for good realtors who do this business for the right reasons, it's going to end up being a really good thing. So I went from being fearful in the unknown yesterday to excited today. Okay, so I'm going to show the screen. I haven't read the whole document, but I feel safe sharing it because can you all see that?
It's loading, it looks like. There we go.
Actually, quick question. Do
Yep.
I need to make this recording private?
No, because we're not saying it. No, it's fine.
I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Yeah, it's what is going to happen, guys, is you're going to have to figure out how to respond to it. Bridget shared earlier in trick-or-treating yesterday, 2 people started quizzing her about the lawsuit, and she was like, what? So you're going to get questioned about it if people know you're in real estate. So you do need to take some time to understand it. Feel free to reach out to me, Robert, any of the leadership, Sara. We're going to proactively give you information, but if you have questions or you're really in fear, reach out to us individually. Okay. So you all have this, I believe, at least part of this in your email. I will put this on our, well, I will. I'll put it on our internal Facebook page if just in case you don't have it. I kind of grimaced. I'm like, do I want to put it out in the public sphere? I'm sure it's already out there by somebody else already. So, do you guys have any questions or specific concerns right now? And I can't see you because now I have the document up. So if you do, just come off mute and speak.
I was in a listing appointment this morning, Jonathan and I, and the seller was saying he read on the front page. Is this what was on the front page? This information, is this lawsuit what was about on the front page of the newspaper today?
Yes, it is. And I have
Okay.
the article. Evie, I'll send it to you. I made a PDF of it and we can send that out to everybody. I'm going to email it right now.
Thank you.
The challenge, we all know, excuse me, we all know what media does. The article is not intended to inspire, right? The very last lines of that article are really icky. It's not fact-based, but it is out there. We're going to have to know how to address it when people ask.
So Ashley, what were the last 2 lines of the article, just so we're kind of prepared to know what that is and possible response?
All right. Thank you, Debbie. I'll read it. It's on my phone, so I got to zoom in. So it's really maybe 6 lines. They quote a guy named Jack Ryan, who's the CEO of Rex Real Estate. And if you remember, if you were in the business about 6 years ago, Rex Real Estate came in pretty hot and heavy, and they were doing 1% listings and not co-oping. And they got in a lot of trouble because that did not fly with MLSs. But they still exist. And the CEO, Jack Ryan, lost an antitrust lawsuit against NAR and Zillow and Trulia. And he's been outspoken about setting commissions lower. In a text message on Tuesday, he hailed the verdict as extremely good for Americans. If commissions can be lowered, the price of every home will come down, jobs and wages will go up, tax revenues will increase, people can easily move to better and more fulfilling jobs. That's a quote of him. And it's stated like it's fact. And none of that is all bullshit. If our commissions go down, the price of every home will go down. I mean, jobs and wages will go up. How does that even fit together? Tax revenues will increase. People can easily move better to better and more fulfilling jobs. Like, it's not, doesn't go together. But the consumer is going to probably take that and go, oh yeah, this is a good thing.
And how should we address it? How should we respond to that?
I don't want to give you an off the cuff answer to that because it would be really flippant, to be honest. Rereading it just triggered me again. So let me think about that, and I'll write a logical response, not an emotional response, and get it out to you guys soon, like today. Is that okay? You don't want my emotional response.
Yeah, can you email that to us rather than have it on Facebook?
I just sent it to Evie. She can send it out. Well,
No, I mean
hopefully.
your response that you're going to respond to
Yeah,
what
yeah,
Gaga asked.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you so much.
But think about it, guys. How many people don't like our industry? A lot, right? So there's gonna be multiple media messages. I don't know that I'm going to be able to give you a response to every single one because I won't see them all. You're going to see it from different angles, and you're going to have to really internalize again how you justify your own value. Vinny, thank you for that. I did put a video out there. I think that was just on my public Facebook post about the lawsuit and Gary Keller.
Is that the guy with the pumpkins behind him?
Yeah.
You know,
I think the most important thing on the statement is business as usual. So all of you should still continue making your 20 contacts a day, now and forever. And don't worry what
Yvette, I appreciate your comment there. There would be a lot of F-bombs in it.
Yeah, and we are recording, so I'm going to protect Ashley from saying anything about that. What Robert said is true, and what I started with was intentional because Mark started with it this morning with the whole global meeting. We didn't lose the opportunity to keep doing what we do great. The reality is nothing has changed in your daily business. Keep doing your business. Focus on what's important and understand if you look back and say all year long, there's been a conversation that the media has been spinning. It might go back to COVID, and it really could go back to forever in real estate. As long as there's been media, there's been conversations about what's happening and who's commentary and blah, blah, blah. It's why we say, be the local economist, be the local expert to your people. If no one's asking you questions, this is my like middle child side. If no one's asking you questions about the real estate article and what's going on with it, do all your people know you are in real estate?
That's a great question.
Like,
it should be an indicator. If you're not getting questions about this, you probably haven't been nailing your job.
And I say that with love and respect. And so understand that you're protected. Gary Keller has stood up louder and stronger, although the article says he was very soft-spoken on the stand and answered and explained things. Funny. Than anyone else in the industry, and he will continue to do so. Since he graduated with a degree in real estate, he continues to go to work every day. And I'm going to double into the other conversation, which this morning, Zillow and Follow Up Boss officially announced their wedding. And so Zillow bought Follow Up Boss. And so if anyone uses Follow Up Boss, Zillow now owns your database. And so I know I'm going to sound snarky and I don't mean to. It's just that Gary didn't spend billions of dollars with a B on building Command to make it better because he was bored. Okay. This started because years ago, go back in time to when the tech industry started infiltrating real estate. He said, oh my gosh, data is what everyone is after. Data is the commodity here, right? Without your database, you have no value. Meaning if you weren't you to go out and be your special self, the only value you have outside of yourself is your database, right? So everyone wants your database. So now Zillow bought Follow Up Boss. And so I can't be distracted by comments. The KWRI told us this morning as well, they are putting out a one-pager that Gary Keller has got together with his top 200 agents. Some of our agents in this call and in this room are in that group, Bridget, Lisa, Sal. And they put together a one-pager so that anyone who uses an outside CRM, contact relation management, whatever it stands for, your database system, now there will be a one-pager they're releasing to us, they said by next week, where you can easily move your database over into Command. Again, here's what I said about this morning. When you are renting your landlord can at any time sell your house. When you are renting the thing that is your most valuable piece of your whole entire business, your CRM, they can at any time sell your house. That's what happened here. It's happened before, it will happen again, right? Do not be confused about that. Zillow and CoStar are in a battle to be like Darth Vader. I don't watch Star Wars, but I think he's the bad one, and take over the universe. Like, so using command, I don't care who you use. I don't care if you use an Excel spreadsheet and you want to like individually whiteboard everything out. It's just not going to be your best use of time, and you're not going to do the most business you can. We will help you move through that. If you are currently using Follow Up Boss and you're like, oh geez, this feels awkward, then get with me, or in the world, the comments, get with me, ask a question. We will help you move your stuff over, right? If you want to still be with them and let Zillow own your people, that's your choice. When Zillow bought Dotloop, the only reason Keller Williams agents were protected in all of their contracts was because Gary Keller had the foresight to say, if you ever sell to anybody, our people are protected. Okay. Otherwise, Zillow now has bought Dotloop and all that contract information, and now they're buying CRMs with all that data information. And, you know, that matters. Any questions, thoughts, anything about that? Yeah, don't move Follow Up Boss. And listen, I've always said I don't care who you use. I'm starting to actually care. Okay, now I care, because now you're being, I'm not going to say dumb, but that's what I want to say. So, because you're just giving your information to somebody else. And here's the deal. Some of those companies, when you go to, you can export it anytime you want. When you go to export it, oh, but not the notes.
Well, and they don't make it easy. I'll tell you, one of the things I was shocked about on that call this morning, because that announcement with Zillow was just made today. Jason Abrams said by Monday, what day is today? Wednesday. By Monday, Keller Williams will have instructions out to all of us on how to get Follow Up Boss information into every other platform. They're doing the work for you to tell you exactly what to do. If you want to go from Follow Up Boss to Boomtown, Follow Up Boss to Command, they're not just forcing you into Command. They're saying this is going to be so stressful for people who want out. We need to make it easy. That's a lot of time, effort, human capital to put on a project that has no benefit to Keller Williams International, but it benefits the agents.
So my last soapbox moment that I've had in my brain while I was away for the past week-ish is that all the talk I've been giving you guys on seller seminars, go run, buy, think of selling your home in 2024, go run a seminar, get out there and be in the more face of sellers, control the listings, control the leads, have the leverage for your people. You do not have to pay to do any of that. You're going to grassroots it yourself, do it online, go to a library, have someone help you serve donuts and coffee, whatever you want to do. None of that costs money for you, right? Every person, because I've seen so many comments in the threads of this, like, oh, well, who cares because they do this, they do that. You guys, you have to care. Like, if you don't care that they're literally out there saying our goal is to put real estate agents out of business and take over the world, like, that is what they say. That's, I'm surmising, but that's what they say. So what I want you to understand is this. Yes, on the one hand, we are working on avenues to buy online leads and grow our lead gen for you guys, because we want you to do more business no matter what it takes, right? And we're focusing more of that on things like Google and things, right? Not on Zillow. The other thing I want you to know is every single transaction that comes through as an online lead, every single online lead that ever exists, I guarantee you they know a real estate agent. And the only reason that online lead isn't lead available for purchase is because the real estate agent that they know, like, and trust, or exists in their sphere somewhere as a dog park friend or a dance roommate or whatever, is because that agent isn't doing their job talking to their sphere of influence. They're going out and buying online leads instead and trying to convince strangers that they're a good person. It didn't freeze. I just want to make sure you're actually hearing that. Like, please double down on you, bet on you, and work to do that going forward. We are going to get into GPS and 411. And part of that is about today, there are 60 days left in the year. That is time to close business still this year. It is also time now to start being ready for next. And so in the face of all the uncertainty, the reality is everything is uncertain always, right? So don't get distracted by the nonsense. Don't be the deer that gets locked in the headlights. I realize that might be a weird analogy in San Diego because there's no deer here, right? Are there deer here? No, right. Okay. Well, on the East Coast, you could be like driving up the parkway at night and all of a sudden a deer jumps out at you and is standing frozen in the lane and staring at you and not moving. Don't do that. We want to move you into movement and momentum and action and activity. The only thing you control is your mindset and your action. So take action, like Robert said, 20 contacts a day. That will have you just doing business and happy about what you're doing. I did throw a lot at you, and some of it's snarky, some of it's super middle child syndrome version of me. Do you guys have any questions, thoughts, concerns that you want to ask about any of that before I will pop up the GPS and we'll talk about what that looks like, but I just want to make sure I don't skip over that for a minute. Okay, if you do, don't be shy. Yeah.
Activity. So if you're the kind of person who needs something to do to move past this and move forward through this, a lot of this hinges around what your value proposition is, right? And Robert mentioned this a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about this on the broker call. Your value proposition and what you bring to the table is why you get your commission when we're talking about the buyer's agent side. So if you need an activity to work through to help you know what to say to your people, my suggestion is take a piece of paper and I'm going to pose this question to you. What would you do different than if that buyer tried to go buy a loan without an agent? What do you bring to the table? Or the other way to look at it is, say there's a computerized system, right? We've seen this in our industry, and it's a computer doing it, right? What do you bring over a computer when you are actually doing that transaction, right? Like, what is it that you do as a buyer's agent? That misunderstanding in the public is a lot of what comes into that perception of why this lawsuit even existed. So if you need some of that, start working your value proposition that way. We will also have a class on it, but that's one of the things that I started to do. And I was like, well, why do people pay me for what I do? And I listed out all the things that I actually do in a transaction. I was like, oh yeah, I am worth my money.
Yeah, you are. Yes, stay tuned for the unique value proposition class coming soon to an office near you. Okay. Speak as the feelings come to you, raise your digital hand, and we will talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. When you get into, if you did not go to business planning with Ashley, what was probably in October, but feels like 6 months ago, we did work through a GPS in that room there. What I want to let you guys start with, and we're not going to do it in 17 minutes together. I want you to start with this. There's 4 things to consider when planning out your goals for next year. Your goals for next year, or any year, every year you do this, is not like, what do I feel like making next year? I feel like making $120,000. My goals are $120,000. Okay. The average commission is $20,000. So I must need to do 6 closings. Done. That's not how. You will look at your personal expenses, your business expenses, your wants and desires, and your taxes. Your taxes will be dependent on the earnings and all that other stuff. But you need to look at those 4 categories. And for some of us, we've never heard that before. And for others of us, we're like, yeah, this is familiar. I did this 5 years ago. I should probably do it again. Some of us do it every year, and great job doing that. So when you start thinking about a financial goal, that's how you build the goal. It's true expenses, expenses your business. What do you want and desire to have and do? Is it a new car? Is it an investment property? Is it a vacation in Disney World? They just keep raising the prices. They don't care. And then taxes on all of it, right? And then when you add those things up, you have a number. And then in real estate, we say, okay, well, we know your average commission, and we can work backwards and figure out your GCI, and then we can work backwards and figure out appointments, and that's all going to come down the line. What we need to know is when I was coaching agents only, like I was an agent and coaching agents, I said, do you want to talk to strangers or do you want to talk to people you know? You should all be talking to people you know. And Also, what's your knee-jerk reaction, right? Strangers are people you know. Because when you build out your GPS, your goals, priorities, and strategies, right? Your 135, it's your one goal. I'll pull it up and show you. We built 1 to 24 units. What we learned in business planning clinic is in California, in San Diego at 24 units, based on the average sales prices and our average commissions, and actually pulled real numbers in this year in October, you are making over $650,000 in GCI. If you need more than that, if that's your goal, then let's talk about it and we'll help you do more than that. You can also do math yourself and multiply it and add on a couple of deals to get to the number you're looking for. If you're like, oh my gosh, I don't need that much, I only need 350, great, divide it in half and do 12, right? And congratulations, because in the rest of the country, you need a lot more units than that to do that much business. So I'm going to share my screen and show you through the magic of Zoom. I'm going to show you 2 documents to start with. And like I said, this is going to be an inspiration, a moment to think of and start planning for yourself. And then we will have follow-ups to this to actually make sure you are dialed in and ready. And the great news is it's November 1st, so you have time to get there, okay? So let me share screen and go to, this is a blank 411 worksheet. And I just want to make sure we take the time to look at this, because 411 and GPS are 135. And Peyton and Sarah, I know you're on here and you are like 2 of the newest names this week. So I apologize to everyone for blathering abbreviations at you, but this is why we're doing this today. So you hear it and learn it. And your coach will be going over this with you, whether you're in launch or growth. And then if you're beyond that, you're coaching with someone else, you're coaching with me, you're having the conversations to make sure you understand. In your 411 sheet, it's your annual goals. These are in all different areas: job, business, financial, personal, and annual personal goals. Then it goes into monthly goals and weekly goals. I just want you to have the visual of it, because people are like, 411, GPS, I don't know what's different. So this is your 1 year, your 1 month, and your 4 weeks. That's the 411, right? It's 411, okay? Every area of your life you'll have a GPS for. Today we're only talking about business, but you and your 411 will have other areas. And if I'm coaching with you, you've seen giant sheets of where you look at all different avenues. That's the visual of this. You have to ask the questions to yourself to dig deep and find the answers, right? When you look at the one thing, there's a page in there with the 7 circles, and maybe I'll share that on the Facebook as well to remind you guys. And in each of the 7 circles of life, physical self, spiritual self, business, work, key relationships, personal, something else. If you have them all dialed in, the reality is every one of them can have a GPS. Gary Keller talks about he has a GPS for his wife and kids, right? And he's like, not because I don't care, because I care so much that if I'm not intentional about it, it won't show up in my calendar and it needs to. And there's no judgment in that. It's like making it a priority, right? So your 411 looks like this. If we go to your GPS, this is the blank one, right? So everyone will have this one. Your one thing, your goal, your one goal is filled in here. Your priorities is your 3 priorities, 1, 2, and 3. GP, priorities 3. And then strategies. Each priority has a strategy. If this is your first time hearing it, it's okay that it's confusing. Just listen and we can keep going. Your strategies are each priority has 5 strategies to accomplish that one. The reality is, if you are doing all of your strategies, you're accomplishing your priorities, which will help you accomplish your one thing, right? I have a couple of examples here, and we'll do one in the room one day, or we have an in-person meeting where you guys can all do it together and brainstorm things together. For the sake of time today, I don't think that's our best use of time, but I have the 24 unit one in 12 months. And this version I'm showing you two different ones because there's different ways to do it, and it's going to be about you and your business, right? This one's using priority 1 as leads, priority 2 as listings, and priority 3 as leverage with 24 units, okay? And in here, the strategy is a database of 370 METs on a 36 plus touch system, which brings 20 calls a day. When I'm coaching you, I'm going to say that that's too complicated for one strategy and that we need to like break it down farther. And yet I want you to have a lot of ideas to pour into your brain today to think about what resonates with you as you build it going forward, okay? In this strategy number 2 under leads, they're saying raving fans, a goal of 12 referrals per year from those raving fans, right? 36 open houses held, door knock 100 doors for each event. Business to business conversations, a vendor list of 100 partners. Agent to agent referrals, identify 2 agents for all major markets. Facebook leads with command, $200 ad spend monthly. All of those strategies funnel up into leads, okay? The way this one is written. So their one thing, their goal is 24 units in 12 months. Their first priority that they're using is leads. And those are 6 strategies, how they're going to get enough leads to do the closings. The other thing about this is when you're doing it and when you're coached to it, you will have it numerically, mathematically make sense. So how many would you be working towards to get there, right? Everything has to have a when, a how many, and a by when, okay? How many, this is 370 on a 36 touch, 20 calls per day. They kind of answer that. And you'll dig into each one for you and see what it is. For listings, how are they going to get listings to accomplish their goal? That's priority 2, the P, one of the 3 things, listings. The strategies here, first strategy, for sale by owners, hold 3 appointments per month with for sale by owners. How do you get the 3 appointments with for sale by owners, right? You have to back into it. What are the actions you're doing in order to get the appointments with the for sale by owners? Expired listings, 10 calls per week to expired listings. Seminars, 1 per month. I added sellers because I could not possibly put this up in your face, even as an example, and not have seller seminar written in under listing. They had first time home buyer, investor, and new construction. And this was one, you guys, that we did in one of our mastermind groups, one of the other market centers, and they said their group, threw this together. So that's why I'm sharing it with you guys, is like a wide reaching opportunity to see other ideas. So seminars, 1 per month would be on their list of strategies to get their listings goal. Unsolicited CMAs, 20 per month. What does that look like? You're not going to go stand outside Target and hand out CMAs. You're going to go to past clients, people and you're going to generate market analyses for them and send them out. 20 per month is their goal. And then a raving fan Facebook group, there needs to be a number. How many are in it? What are you doing with it? How are you watering it and feeding it and taking care of it? And then their third priority in this group is leverage. So under leverage, what does that mean? Transaction manager, transaction coordinator. I don't know if you guys know this, but in most of the world, they think transaction coordinators are like a fancy thing for successful agents. Congratulations, in Southern California. We make you fancy successful agents right out of the gate because your best use of time is not in those details. In this case, you already have that one. In your command CRM, deploying smart plans and neighborhood nurtures. Please, obviously, yes. Vendor partners, partnering in a RESPA compliant way. Michael Lewis marketing system, marketing team, collateral, buyer, seller, lead generation. Gene Rivers says, show me your collateral and I'll show you your value and your worth. So if you don't have a pre-listing packet, a buyer presentation, a listing presentation, all the presentations you would need as a real estate agent done, then that's in your brain space to think about, and I'll tell you, it only matters when it matters. I was an agent who did most of my listing, appointments, interviews, with myself and the comps for that area and what it went into it. And I drew things out on paper and it And then you get a referral from somebody who doesn't know you, like you, trust you already, and they don't know that you're amazing just on paper, and they need to see your stuff. And that's when I built my pre-listing package and all that stuff out. And their last piece of leverage here is a coach and an accountability partner. So this will be one GPS version that's going to get you to 24 units in 12 months. It will show you the difference here in 15 units and say, this one's much more specific. This is somebody I coach with and we're working on it. And they know their conversion for their database based on what's in their database, how many they're closing, what goes on. So their priorities are sphere of influence, cold calling and circle prospecting, community and networking. So they go into very specific, call 10 people from our sphere of influence, ask business or referrals, create engaging video, blah, blah, blah. I will share samples and show them to you and get more specific. What I want to make sure we can do now is just leave space for any questions or thoughts, because we have 4 minutes left and there's a lot of things coming at you today. So GPS or 411, questions or thoughts. I see seller seminar questions popping up on the other side. Ask anything you're thinking of now before we wrap up today. The only bad question is the one you're not asking because you feel like it's dumb or it's only about you.
Yeah, Sarah, why don't we go ahead and republish that seller seminar post that you did that had that link? Because I think a few people probably missed that one. So we'll get published. But yes, to the people asking in the chat, we do have a seller seminar guide. We have a step-by-step guide of how to do it. We have those tools for you available already existing. So yes, we'll make sure to get that reposted.
Okay, so as you realize it's November 1st and there's 60 days left in the year, I would love for you all to take time to really do that work for yourself. I know many of your faces that I'm seeing have done it and you're just in the refining part of things. But again, the questions are your personal expenses, your business expenses, your wants and desires, and your taxes. That's going to give you a number that you're going to start building for your goals in 2024. Once you have that number, we reverse engineer into it and come up with, based on what you're good at, what you love doing. Somebody said, well, I don't ever want to have to cold call. You don't ever have to cold call. And then other people are like, oh my gosh, I only want to cold call. Please don't tell me I have to go do like networking events. That sounds disgusting and horrifying. Great. You don't ever have to do that. You can only do the other thing. My playbook book is here someplace. There are endless ways to build your business, and I have a one-pager for all of them. So seller seminars, networking events, cold calling, open houses, for sale by owners, in your database, agent-to-agent referral, all the things, right? The reality is we can't coach you to them until we know what they are for you and you know what your number is, okay? So get specific, ask the questions. We'll post the seller seminar information in there. I'll post the templates for the GPS and the 411. You can't go it alone, right? You need to be doing it. Like you need to be coached through it. So if you don't have a coach, reach out. Robert said how many positions do you have left in coaching, BB? 5. There's 5 positions left in the growth coaching program right now. So if you're looking at that and you're beyond new, and yeah, it's a lot. Get specific on what you're looking to do for your goals, and then we'll start giving you the different playbooks for what it is based on what you're doing, right? So look out for those questions. The seller seminar will get posted. The seller survey will get posted again. And Judy Stevens wants to know who wants to shadow her in Chula Vista this weekend. She dropped her cell phone number in there. So take up that opportunity. And most importantly, y'all, just get out there and be your awesome selves and do your job. Show up, help your people live their best life, and that will keep you growing forward. If anybody needs anything, please reach out specifically. If you have questions you didn't want to ask about what we just went through, holler at me and I will help you. And other than that, we'll see you next week.